The story begins with a man named Nicky. He was eating in the hotel while a girl comes and sits next to him. She tells Nicky that the old man in front of her is bothering her. She wants to get rid of him. Since I have come, he thinks I am alone. He thinks he is alone and is bothering her. She also tells Nicky that she will pretend to be her friend for a while. Please, so that she feels that I am with you and she doesn't bother me. After listening to this, Nicky agreed. But that girl, whose name was Jess, starts looking at him in a strange way. Jess asks, "Are you a serial killer who is staring at me like this?" Nicky says, "I can't say anything. He is the one in front, that how he thinks of me, and I become like that." Now both of them talk like this till late night. They become friends. Then they went to the room to spend more time together. He wants to kill her. He gave them both together and got angry. He threatens to kill Nicky by pointing a gun at her. Jess tells Nicky that he is her husband. He is a very crazy person. He has already killed many people before, and see, he will kill you too. But here Nicky is not afraid to leave himself. In fact, she said that, "Please kill me because I have cancer anyway. I have to die anyway, so you kill me." Now, actually, Nicky was trying to shoot him here, but even at his request, that man did not shoot. Then Jess opened her mouth and started saying to the man, "Hey, you stupid person, it's not a cancer vencer, but she has understood our plan." Actually, it was Nicky's plan to make Nicky talk to him and bring her to the room, because she used to scare people and cheat them. But this time her plan failed, because this time she faced a looter who had understood her plan. Yes, Nicky was also a big looter. And now she quietly leaves the hotel room. When she was leaving the hotel room, Nicky also started walking with her and offers to drink alcohol. Jess was also very impressed with him, so she accepted his offer. They both came to the bar and started drinking, where Jess asked him about his stealing skills. Jess told him that the most important thing in stealing and looting is focus. That is, we should focus on doing something. Actually, a person cannot do all the work at one time because such work is bad. It is very important to focus on one thing. He also practices it with Jess. He steals her watch and purse. Jess doesn't even know about it. He tells her that he could easily steal her things, because your focus was on me and mine was on you. Jess was also shocked to see this. She is also impressed by this. The next day she met again. Jess is very stubborn. Then Nicky agrees to tell her how we work in the team. It means she was not alone. Many of her friends were with Nicky, so now Jess is a part of the team and comes to a crowded place. Nicky was also standing in the balcony and keeping an eye on them. Nicky's team's one boy explains to Jess how we will end the robbery, and now they immediately... Here, looking at Jess's stealing skills, Nicky and her partner were very surprised and happy. That means Nicky was thinking stupid, but she turned out to be very smart. Next, Nicky shows Jess the place where the stolen goods were sold. Here, the stolen, very expensive goods were lying, of which one necklace Jess liked a lot. She picks it up, wears it, and looks. Nicky tells him to keep it back. He started explaining, "Look, we are not so rich now that we can live our life with ease. We have only this much money to spend. We can't even think of buying such expensive things, meaning we need more big robberies." Now Nicky gives him the key to a room and says that we have to work together for a long time. "So I have bought a room for you." Now Jess also wants to come with him so that he can spend more time with her. But he refused that I am busy right now. So Jess comes to the hotel alone in a car. When she was in the room, she was thinking about Nicky, and then the doorbell rang. Jess opened the door and there was no one else but Nicky. She couldn't stop herself, and they spent time together. Next day, Jess was talking to a friend who was Nicky's friend. He was working with her for a long time. They were talking and then Nicky's friend started crying. He started screaming. Actually, this was Nicky and her friend's plan. People got scared seeing her condition. And now, as everyone's focus was on her and start to plan their future, they start stealing everyone's valuables. After a while, Nicky comes there with an ambulance. She takes her friend and the one who is in the car and leaves. Nicky and her friends were partying at night. Everything was great. Nicky tells them that this time they have achieved their big target, $1.2 million. One of her friends, Nikki, gives all the money and says that it is your responsibility to handle all this money. And yes, stay away from gambling. Next day, Nikki and Jess come to the stadium to watch a match. Now, when a girl gets up from her seat and starts going from there, then Jess puts a condition from Nikki that while going, she will see about 8 people. Nikki says that no, not 8. 3 people will see. Now, a rich man sitting behind her says to him that according to me, he will see 5 people. But he saw 7 people. And because Jess's guess was quite right, then this condition, and now Nikki is putting a bet on the players who are playing on the ground, but twice Nikki loses the bet. So Nikki puts a bet of 10,000 on him. He tells the rich man that now whoever tries to catch the ball, he will be released from the catch. But the rich man says no, he will catch the ball. And after a while, one player throws the ball to the other side. So he caught the catch. That means Nikki lost this bet too. Till now, Nikki lost more than $5,000 from that rich man. Seeing this, the one who is getting worried is called Nikki. Let's go. Now we should leave from here. But Nikki, who was very angry, wanted to put on a better shirt. And this time he was ready to put on a big $1.2 million shirt. He tells the rich man to put on a $1.2 million shirt. We will put this shirt on the cards, after which both came to the casino. And now Nikki puts all the money on the table. Jess was very worried about all this. She was still asking Nikki to leave from here, but she challenges the rich man for a shirt without listening to him. This man had a lot of money, so he accepts his challenge. But now, unfortunately, he lost $1.2 million on the Nikki table. Now, Nikki's friends also had a share in this money. But since all the money had gone, the problem of the judge increases. And now Nikki too. He started going away from here. Then the rich man got tensed and said that if you play with a big player, it will be like this. Nikki Crook got angry after hearing this. Along with that, he remembered something. That's why he started going towards the rich man again. He said that now I want to play the double money condition, that is $2.2 million. The surprising thing was that he didn't even have a rupee yet, but still was insisting on making a bet. Nikki tells the rich man that you are playing on the ground, note down any player's number, and I will make an estimate and tell you which player you have thought in your mind. But for this, the rich man refused. He says that he doesn't believe you. Nikki says that, I don't believe you, my friend. Jess will tell him about that player. Now Nikki's madness makes the rich man also agree, whereas Jess still tries to make him understand. In the stadium, the rich man had to note down a player's number. Jess said, go and tell me which player you thought of. Then Jess said, go out and tell me about the player. Jess did this. Through the door bin, she kept looking at the players, but he doesn't understand anything. At this moment, the rich man tells Nikki that if you want, you can still take this bet back. But he refuses because he wanted to take this risk. And now, after a while, looking at the judge player, she is quite shocked. Because Nikki's friend was playing there, who was wearing a t-shirt of number 55. And now the judge says without hesitation that the number 55 is the player who the rich man has thought. Hearing this, the rich man laughed like crazy. He says, well done, wow, you have made the right guess, you have won this bet. Yes, the number 55 was the player. Which surprised Jess a lot, because he couldn't believe that Nikki has won $2.2 million, and now they both take all the money and leave from here. In the car, Jess started getting angry at Nikki. She starts to believe that you haven't told me about your plan till now. That how you won such a big amount, whereas few days back it was looking like you lost all the money because of your anger. Now tell me, what is the truth? How did you win this bet? Then Nikki tells him that rich man has a lot of money. Also, he is a very big gambler. He is not a gambler who he hasn't played. Just asks, how did you come to know that I will choose number 55? How did you take such a big risk? Then Nikki tells that for a long time she was putting the matter of me in your mind, along with that in the mind of a rich man, and the story comes a little earlier. We saw that Nikki's men were keeping an eye on the rich man for a long time. They tried in different ways and made number 55 in his mind. Wherever he would go, 55 number or this number shape, he used to be seen everywhere. People were caught on the banners. This was also his trick to show to the rich, and today, when he was coming to see the match, he saw his friend. So he put 55 number in his mind because his number was also 55. This is the reason why he chose this number. And listening to everything, now Jais. She is very happy and she is impressed again. Nikki tells her that she did a good job. She gives Jess her share of the money and leaves, although Jess tries to stop her. But she left without listening to anything. Jess starts crying about this because she started liking Nikki. But Jess hates her leaving suddenly. And now the story from here. 3 years later. Here, Nikki had to make a plan to rob a rich man. This rich man's name was Gary. He was very fond of having toy cars, but to fix the cars, he needed a good mechanic. So Nikki tells himself a good mechanic and goes to meet Gary. When Nikki goes from there, Gary's guard says to be careful with this because I don't trust this man at all. Anyway, Nikki came to a party in the evening where Gary called him. There was a Jess in the party. Now when Vicky looks at them so closely, he understands that they have made a relationship. He felt bad, so she goes out of the party. She stands somewhere and then Jess comes here. She says that I have become her partner. But she knows nothing about my past, so please don't mention her in front of her. And now Nikki comes to the party and drinks a lot of alcohol because she couldn't bear that Jess is so close to someone else. Now Nikki was very angry and she was very drunk, so she hits Gary's face hard. He says he doesn't fire her from the job because he knew that she did it in a high spirits. He forgives Nikki. Next day, when Gary's manager was explaining to Nikki, Jess came to the pool where Gary was lying down, and once again, he saw her so close that Nikki started to get jealous. Her focus is on both of them. After meeting the manager, he came to Jess and said, "You shouldn't have come here in this color clothes, because some people are looking at you in a strange way." But Jess ignored him and left. The next day, Nikki and Jess met at a different place. Here, Jess asks about the 3-year-old Faki because she wanted to know why he left Jess suddenly that day. Then Nikki tried to explain to her or try to get back to her, but she doesn't listen to him because she was very angry. So Nikki tries to convince Jess through her friend because he became a good friend of Jess. Nikki sends Jess the necklace gift through her friend, which she saw at the place where the theft was. So now she agrees to meet Nikki on the request of her friend. Then when they meet, Jess understands from Nikki's words that he wants to make a relationship with me again. But Jess refused. She says that now she can't trust you. She leaves the hotel saying this. Now when she came back to the hotel, she was sitting at the door of her room. The truth is that she still liked her room. That's why she couldn't stop herself from coming here. And now both of them come to the room and spend time together. Now, the next morning, without telling, Gary's guard comes to meet Nikki. He knocks the door. Then Nikki immediately opens the door. Now the guard was open to him. He realized that there was someone else in the room with Nikki. So he came to the room and started looking everywhere. But he didn't find anyone here because Jess was hiding in the balcony with him to escape from the guard. The next day, Gary's manager gives him a lot of money in return for work. Now here we see Nikki transferring something to her laptop. After stealing these designs, he sells the clothes of Nikki and Gary for less money. After that, Nikki takes all the money and plans to leave with Jess. And now when both of them were leaving in the car, then one of the men of Gary also follows them in his car. He forcefully brought his car into their car and killed them, which made them both unconscious. Now when they both came to their senses, they see themselves tied to the chair. Gary was in front of them. Actually, Gary already knew that Nikki had the intention of robbing me. He had already put his men after Nikki long before, the day and night, and here Gary couldn't understand that even after being so secure, Nikki didn't know how to get his password. When he asked about this, Nikki replied that when I saw you so close to Jess, I decided to go close to her. I had sent Jess that necklace gift. I had put a secret chip in it. And when Jess came into your room, I got access to your laptop when I came close to the laptop. That means I could do anything with your laptop, and in this way I got to know your password. But yes, Jess had no idea about this. In fact, I once again pretended to love her and made her a fool. Hearing this, Gary and his guards started laughing loudly, and then Gary takes a sip from Jess's mouth. Then she opens her mouth, that there was never any connection between me and Gary. That is, she also came with the intention of returning to him, in which way Gary found out. Actually, when Jess came to Gary's party, she saw Nikki there. That's why she deliberately went to Gary's place, so that she felt like this, that they are in a relationship, although there was nothing like that. Now here Jess starts arguing with Nikki that you are a liar. You never speak the truth. Because of your actions, we are going to die. But after listening to her one lie, Nikki starts telling another story to Gary, on which Gary's son, Nikki, he shoots him saying that we can't hear another lie of his, after which the guard moves forward to shoot him. Then the guard tells him that he doesn't want to create a scene of police or me. Stop it. And yes, from now on you will handle this matter. He left saying whatever he wanted. He had a knee injury. That's why she stops breathing. Then the guard comes forward. He takes out a bullet from a pump and says, "If the bullet doesn't hit the heart, you'll be saved. You'll get well soon." After which Jess also found out that Gary's guard is no one else but Nikki's dad, who had now taken out Nikki's bullet. He then took all the money with Jess's help and took the injured Nikki to the hospital. It was in the car where Jess found out that Nikki had planned to rob Gary 3 years ago. Since then, his dad was working as a guard for Gary so that he could make his trust. With the help of his dad, he found Gary's passport. That means at that time, Nikki lied that I did this work through Jess. Nikki said that her dad cheated on her because if he had not done this, then Gary would have shot both of them and killed them. And now these people. She reaches the hospital and her dad and Jess take her inside. She has already been punished for what she did. And because Jess was like her, she forgives and accepts her. And now they will keep stealing from their masters. And they will spend their lives very well. That means they will not only live their lives, but they can live a happy life, which was their dream. And with this, the story of this film ends here.